Okay, so the question is, how come my geometry doesn't display properly? So let's just quickly mock this up. So we have a box, right, essentially, and there was a poly extrude. All right, so let's grab this polygon here, and we'll just inset it a little bit that way. And we'll output the front group, and then we'll do another poly extrude, and we'll tell it to use that front group, not number 3, and we won't inset this one, and then we'll pull this up inside, right? So we're just throwing this together real quick. And then over here there was a tube of some kind that was then, you know, being placed, and then there's a merge. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this down, height scale to like 0.25, and the radius scale to like 0.85, something like that. And we'll just put a transform, and we're going to move this up. And things were a little more complicated in this setup that you had, but that's okay. It's just kind of for an idea. So the question becomes, you know, when you jump up to the object level, you expect it to do like this and continue to show what you have displayed. Now the thing I noticed is in your setup you have an output node. So the way that a SOP works is, the SOP context is wherever your display flag is set, right, that's what will show when you come out to the object level, unless there is an object or an output node. This then becomes, no matter what, right, we can have this as our display, but now when we jump out, no matter what, this is our output. And we can actually have several outputs for our you know, our container here, our geometry container, to do various things. And there's ways to access those different outputs. But the moment that you have an output node, this is what's going to come out, right? So if we just move this down here and we jump back up, now we'll see that it's pulling the whole thing. So this can be confusing sometimes as to, you know, what is the, you know, how do I make sure that the right information is going downstream? And when you get into much more complicated setups where you have geometry containers being merged into other geometry containers, using the display flag to set what is the output becomes very problematic, because you'll have big, giant, complex node networks, you know, that you'll come into, and, you know, this isn't even that complex. But then if my display flag of what I'm viewing while I'm editing inside of my workflow is set to here, because this is what I care about, but this isn't what I ever want going to my downstream, which is going to show up in my LOP network, you know, my Solaris context. So I have an output node down here that's enforcing the right information to come out of my SOP context, no matter what. That I'm saying this is what I want to send downstream to my whatever my next step is, and so I can ensure that happens. If I don't have this output node, then viewing here would mean this is what would get pulled into the next area that I'm pointed at, if you're pointed at just this container, right? So it really boils down to making sure that you have your output set to where you want it to be. Hope this helps. It's a really easy thing to get tripped up on, but yeah, it's really powerful as you start to understand how you can send information through. And oftentimes I'll set this up so I have my display flag is actually set to something low res, so while I'm in the context working, it doesn't automatically load something big and heavy. So I can constantly be jumping to something that's lighter weight, do my work over there, and then the heavier version gets cooked and goes out as the output. So you can do really cool things with managing outputs this way. Hope this helps. Good luck.